My name is Pam, and I am a recovering codependent. Today, I'm going to talk about what codependency is, why addicts and codependents are attracted to each other, the impact that have on each other, and how to get help. Let's start with a definition of codependency, and then we'll break that down into what it looks like in everyday life. Originally, codependent was used to describe people in close relationship with an addict. The idea was that the codependent was an enabler in the addiction. An enabler is someone that helps the addict be an addict by covering for them, cleaning up after them, or even supplying them with money for the drug of choice. The codependent doesn't do these things because they like the addiction. They typically can't stand it. More on that in a minute. More recent definitions of codependency refer to a specific relationship addiction characterized by preoccupation and extreme dependency, emotional, social, and sometimes physical, on another person. Put simply, codependents are addicted to other people, not just any other people, but those that they can get love and acceptance from by taking care of them. This is usually done in the context of romantic relationship, but it can happen with parents and their children as well. A codependent might be overly helpful with their friends or others, but that's kind of like a crack addict smoking a cigarette. It's small hit, but it won't satisfy the addiction. The drug for the codependent is love and acceptance. For me, it's about trying to control others to fill my need to be loved. We will not let go of our need to control that which we can't. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. One of the consequences that codependents suffer is that we're so busy trying to take care of the others that we fail to take care of ourselves. We lose our marbles, and Al-Anon helps us find them again. In extreme cases, this means staying in an abusive relationship. When most people hear about someone in an abusive relationship, they say, "Why don't they just leave? Why would anyone stay with someone that is hurting them?" Well, as an addict, maybe you can relate. Why would anyone continue to put poison into their body when it's ruining their life and causing them physical problems? Why would anyone continue eating poorly when they weigh 400 pounds? Why would anyone continue gambling after they've lost their house and are thousands of dollars in debt? Addiction is addiction. We aren't addicts by choice. It is a disease. We continue hurting ourselves because the compulsion to use is so strong that we have trouble doing what is logical and healthy. It's like a moth to a flame. Can't help it. Codependency is no different. Common symptoms of codependency are low self-esteem, depression, stress, and anxiety, having a hard time saying no, having poor boundaries, feeling compelled to take care of people or fix them. This is totally me. I'm a big time fixer. Having a need for control, especially over others, having trouble communicating honestly, feeling a need to be liked by everyone, feeling a need to always be in a relationship, denying one's own needs, thoughts, and feelings, confusing love with pity, and intense fear of abandonment. Now, just because you identify with some of these symptoms doesn't necessarily mean you're codependent. The list is simply a guideline. I want to touch on why addicts and codependents seem to be attracted to each other. We couldn't find any studies specific to the topic, but conventional wisdom is that codependents need to take care of someone else is more satisfying by being in the relationship with someone that needs taking care of. And who needs more taking care of than an addict? The addict can also be attracted to the part of the codependent that feels the need to fix others. Also, codependents are often raised in dysfunctional families where one or both parents are alcoholics or addicts. So they are subsequently attracted to people that will offer them the comforts of home. At the same time, the addict appreciates the caretaking, at least initially, because they have self-esteem issues of their own. In the early stages of the relationship, this arrangement seems to work out well. The addict enjoys being taken care of, and the codependent gets their bucket filled because the addict appreciates their efforts. But when the glow of the new relationship wears off, the addict starts to resent feeling controlled and may start to push back. The codependent resents that their efforts are not appreciated, and the more resentment they feel, the harder they try to control things. The more controlling they get, the more the addict feels resentful and pushes back, so that the cycle goes on and the relationship goes south. Ironically, if an addict gets into recovery and starts to get well from going to meetings, their codependent partner might get jealous. Why are they getting help from the group and not from me? They are spending so much time with their sponsor when they should be with me. This leads to thinking that they are not needed and have no place in the addict's life. Their value is lessened if their partner gets their needs met elsewhere. We patiently wait for our fix, which relies on them needing us. This is the codependent's version of stinkin' thinking. One of the traits of codependence is the need to fix things, especially other people and relationships. Much of our self-worth comes from their success in this area, so it's not surprising that they try to fix their addicted partner. They may give a lot of advice and suggestions. When that doesn't work, they'll try manipulation, guilt, or shame. Or they may even take responsibility for the problem and try and satisfy the addict's need by being overly giving. I've seen this in many relationships where one partner is addicted to pornography. Many of us say to ourselves, "Why do they look at strangers? Aren't I enough?" In an attempt to win them back, we change our look, try dirty talk, role play, wherever it takes. But as I've learned, it really has nothing to do with us. The sex addict is looking for physical pleasure with no emotional risk, which a relationship cannot provide. This selfless giving might sound to some like a virtue. What's wrong with being nice to people and giving them what they want? But with codependency, it is an unhealthy form of giving. The giving is being done with the hope that it will cause the receiver to provide the codependent with all the love and acceptance that they desire. Unlike with an addiction, it's never enough. The love and acceptance given might satisfy the codependent for a short time, but they will always want more. This leaves the codependent feeling lonely, depressed, and helpless, and they might wonder what good they are to their partner, which is where they find their value. As Phil has said many times, if you're an addict or a codependent, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't choose this. Codependents usually come from families where the parents were neglectful or overprotective and controlling. Upbringings with a lack of clear boundaries are also fertile ground for raising a codependent. Emotional or physical abuse are extremely damaging to a child, and codependency is just one possible consequence. Parents with substance abuse issues will often cause their children to become codependent adults. And finally, codependency is passed down the generations. Controlling parents raise controlling children, who become controlling parents themselves. The good news is there is hope. There are many self-help books on codependency that can teach you skills for overcoming this life-stealing disease. My favorite book is The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. We've provided links in the comments section and many helpful resources. I'd like to talk about one of these resources now, and that is Al-Anon. Al-Anon is not a 12-step program specifically for codependency. Its purpose is to help those that have loved one that is an alcoholic. Codependents Anonymous, or CODA, is more specific to codependency. Adult Children of Alcoholics, or ACA, focuses on the effects of family dysfunction. I really like Al-Anon because it focuses on learning to love yourself. It reminds us that we can't fix anyone else and we should work on ourselves. The 3 C's of Al-Anon are: I didn't cause it, can't control it, and I can't not cure it. That pretty much sums it up. But there's a lot of work involved in living that truth. I also like Al-Anon's focus on detachment, which is a key element of overcoming codependency. Let me read you some of the Al-Anon literature, paraphrasing it a bit. Detaching with love can help us look at our situations realistically and objectively. In Al-Anon, we learn nothing we can say or do can cause or stop someone else's drinking. We are not responsible for another person's disease or recovery from it. Detaching with love allows us to let go of our obsession with another's behavior and begin to lead happier and more manageable lives. Lives with dignity and rights. Lives guided by a power greater than ourselves. We can still love the person without liking the behavior. We can also learn to love ourselves. In Al-Anon, we learn not to suffer because of the action or reaction of other people, not to allow ourselves to be used or abused by others in the interest of another's recovery, not to do for others what they can do for themselves, not to manipulate situations so others will eat, go to bed, get up, pay bills, not drink, or behave as we see fit, not to cover up for another's mistakes or misdeeds, not to create a crisis, not to prevent a crisis if it is in the natural course of the events. Like with addiction, it typically takes more than just a 12-step program to overcome codependency. We strongly recommend talking to a licensed therapist about it. The key to overcoming many of our issues is to learn how to love ourselves, how to regain our self-esteem, how to accept ourselves exactly as we are. When we can do that, the need to get love and acceptance from others diminishes, and we can stop trying so hard to get it in unhealthy ways. It's a long journey, and it isn't easy, but it is possible. So Phil told me part of the deal here is that I have to give you guys some homework. Then Chris said something about telling you recovery is possible today. But seriously, guys, it's not my job to take care of your needs. I am my own person. Do check out the comments for more information about what we talked about today. Remember, with the help of your higher power, you can receive strength and hope you need and to gain freedom from your codependency. Thank you for letting me share.